Craig here on the third floor. Welcome to another episode where my guests Patrick Healy, Jesse Watson, and I break down Guild's Hoffman in Malifaux 3rd Edition. How does an augmented crew perform on the table? You know you're our favorite listener, so please rate our podcast or even write us a review. This will help us find more people almost as cool as you are. Enjoy the episode. There are few things better than unplugging, stepping away from the screens, and sitting around a table to do battle with your friends. Every week, we bring you the latest strategies, tactics, and reviews on board games, card games, and miniature games like Malifaux. Whether you want to learn useful information on the games you already play, or get some insights on other games people are playing, you are in the right place. Welcome to the third floor and the tabletop broadcast. This episode is a direct port from one of our YouTube videos. Be sure to subscribe to the Third Floor Wars YouTube channel. The link is in the show notes. Craig here on the third floor. With me today we've got Jesse Watson and Patrick Healy, and we're talking Guild. Quick disclaimer, when filming this, it was in the open beta, so some of the details may change, but the overall ideas behind Hoffman and the augmented crew will remain the same. Enjoy. We're talking about Charles Hoffman and the augmented crew. Let's start, guys, with Hoffman. So if I'm going to choose Hoffman as my leader of my crew, what do I expect him to do?
He's going to play constructs. They're going to be very tough, and they're going to hit very hard. Okay. Jesse?
Stompy bots all the way. If you want a high damage, hard to knock down crew, time to bring the Hoff.
And what is Hoffman doing in that situation? So what does he do that makes the whole crew work?
He's going to hand out suits, so he basically lets your models stone for suits with his power token mechanic.
Oh, okay.
He's going to hand out extra AP, and he brings the ability to bring a lot of healing, shielding, that kind of stuff into his crew. So the other augmented models are able to use stones if they're close to him, or if they're looped, or how does that work? It's his power token mechanic.
Got it.
He hands out these power tokens, which you can spend for plus flips, stone, not for stones, but suits in the duels, etc.
And you have to spend a stone in order to do that with suits? You just have them in... Oh, that's great. Okay. Offensive-wise, is he hitting people? What is he doing?
Well, that's... I think it's an early game support, because he's handing out fast and making sure everybody has the power tokens that they can use for those boosts later on. But he actually has a pretty nasty melee attack of his own.
Okay.
Caps at 6 damage. So he can put out a real hurt with some good triggers on it. But also his ability to hand out fast has a shockwave attachment to it.
Okay.
Pulse that can hand out injured.
Okay.
So if you do get caught up in the bubble, and this is definitely a bubble team,
gotcha.
He can bring pain while providing support. Put fast on that model and injured anybody near him.
So he's got a good melee attack. If he's going in on something, is he going to survive that? I mean, is he himself resilient enough to be able to put a hurt on and get away with it?
Definitely. He's armor 2. He can use soul stones.
Yep.
So yes, definitely.
Okay, great. So if I've picked Hoffman as my leader, I'm probably going to be hiring a bunch of augmented models. Looking at the augmented models, probably the first thing that I notice is the whole concept of power converter. I'm seeing it on several models. Walk me through that.
Okay. So power converter is their keyword ability. And basically what it states is, at the beginning of their activation, any augmented model with this ability can remove a scrap marker nearby to gain a power token.
Okay.
And these power tokens are how they add suits, get pluses to duels.
That's what they're discarding to get this stuff.
Yes. You can discard these tokens. You can store them up. Most of the models have a way to move them between other models in the crew.
Okay.
And then Hoffman, when he activates, hands out power tokens to all nearby augmented models.
Okay, wow. All right. So definitely the support aspect from Hoffman. And you mentioned the bubble. So how close do all these things need to be to each other to take advantage of all this?
Well, for Hoffman's pulse, I think it was a 6-inch reach. So you want to be within 6 inches of Hoffman for his pulse when he activates.
Okay.
And that's a good rule of thumb for a lot of your other models. But one clutch model in here is also the Guardian.
Okay.
Which, within 2 inches, he can take the hit for a friendly.
Oh, all right.
So with all of these moving of power tokens around, you can choose which model you want to be your focused model. They're going to get the juice from everybody else, and they can be shifting him with little 2-inch moves as they give him tokens. And then you can keep that Guardian right near him. So if your opponent wants to take down that gnarly Peacekeeper or Howard Langston, they got to go through the Guardian first.
Interesting.
So 2-inch bubble on that guy.
And how many Guardians can you bring?
They're Minion 2, I
Minion
think.
2. That's nice. Okay, good. So if I've got an augmented crew, I'm putting it on the table, what's my path to victory with an augmented crew?
So an augmented crew is going to mainly be they're going to be very attritional. They're going to take hits from you, and then they're going to kill you back. So typically they're going to kill you faster than you can kill them.
Gotcha. They're going to win the war of attrition.
They're going to be very attritional, very efficient is a good word for them.
Got it. Okay, good. Is there any particular schemes, strats, where you found an augmented crew's good?
Oh, they're horrifying in Reckoning.
Oh, okay.
They are with Armor 2 across most of the list. If you're bringing in your Arcanist augmented models, you also gain a lot of heals and a lot of access to shielding. So Armor 2 plus a shield means I can hit you for 3 and actually end up doing 0 damage.
Gotcha.
If I do manage to get 4, or if I plink through the shielding, here's a Medibot with a 1, 2, 3 heal or more. So in Reckoning, they're going to be so resource intensive to drop. And then they're still coming at you with a lot of min 3 damage. Also, the possibility to come in with a Melissa Corey, grenade spam, and other options like that. So they can really put out a hurting if they want to.
Now, I would assume Peacekeeper is one of your big beaters in an augmented crew?
I think in a Hoffman crew, you have a choice of basically 4 beaters.
Okay.
I don't know if you take any more than one of these. You take a Peacekeeper. You would take the Melissa Corey, his new model. Joss or Howard Langston, and any one of those 3 can effectively just chew their way.
They could be what Jesse was talking about, that focus model.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Got you. And any other key augmented models do you think that are must takes in order to accomplish what augmented is trying to do? Pick a beater. Is there some other model? You mentioned the Medibot. Has that pretty much been an auto take for you guys, or?
I think they're good takes. I think you've got a couple of choices, and you have a lot of models that do damage and tanking, but there are a few roles that are much more limited.
Okay.
For instance, you provide a melee bubble, you need to be able to get people into the bubble. So the Peacekeeper can do the pull, the Hunter can do the pull. I think you're going to need one of those to drag somebody into it. Otherwise, looking towards doing the schemes. So if the strategy is Reckoning, but you still need to drop scheme markers in far-flung corners, Watcher, who's your 4-cost, fantastic minion for getting those schemes done, he's also one of your few options for getting a far-flung scheme done.
I think Watcher might be the best scheme runner in all of Guild right now. It's a move 7 flight. That's hard
pretty
to get
good.
Around.
Yeah, and the way flight works is you're getting more than 7 inches out of that. So that's huge because it's a place.
In terms of sheer mobility, they're not going to get topped by Guild.
Any versatile models, non-augmented models that you found fit?
The Brutal Effigy. You're going to bubble anyway. He's got a small aura that comes off of him. Heals models nearby. So we talked about that plink damage already. It's just another way of just getting rid of that plink damage.
What is Hoffman and the augmented crew's afraid of?
Anything that makes them spread out. Anything that attacks their hand. I don't think there's any crew card draw at all, really, into that crew.
Okay. So that's a tight resource with an augmented crew.
They would struggle in strategies and scheme sets. I mean, Power Ritual, for instance, other than their Watcher, is just not an option for them.
Yeah.
Got it.
But Analyze Weakness.
Yes.
And this is, in terms of counter building. If my opponent declares Hoffman, I will go find my utility Analyze Weakness model. If I don't know that I can take him.
It's going to be a bad day.
You're going to have a very hard time. And the thing with Analyze Weakness, while it's a resisted duel, most of the defenses and willpowers are not that high across the augmented crew.
Right.
So
they're susceptible.
Yes. He adds suits, he adds pluses, but his overall stats are lower than you might expect.
Good. Well, gentlemen, I appreciate it. And that's Hoffman.
Excellent.
Thanks for listening. Be sure to rate and write a review on this podcast so we can find more people almost as cool as you are. Check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube by searching for Third Floor Wars. That's THIRD. We'll catch you next time on the Third Floor.